Welcome to our weekly forecast reading to use astrology to get more aware and aligned with what we could call the celestial flow. So let me just check if this is working here. So I know you can find me. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, cool. All right, so I do this weekly Sunday forecast because Sunday is usually a time where we do have time to get into the zone, to mentally and emotionally prepare ourselves for the coming week. So I am very passionate about astrology. So I use astrology for myself as a spiritual path of self-awareness, of self-inquiry, for reflection. So it's a very, very powerful tool to kind of step out a little bit out of our individual story and identifications and look at ourselves in the world, in our life, with what we do there from a more neutral perspective. So let's see what we're gonna have this week. So the overall theme, and I'm still kind of ringing with how to present the material for the coming week, not to just give you some astro bubble, but to translate it into concepts and ideas you can really work with. Hi Anne, good to see you. Love to see you there. So I'm going to try to translate those astrological ideas and concepts. And of course, my ambition is to teach you a little bit about astrology, because I do believe for all of us, it's very, very powerful to know astrology and to use that. And I live on Maui, as you might know, so we surf the ocean, we surf the waves. So if you ever have had a dip in the ocean and tried to fight the wave coming at you, you're out of luck. That's not going to happen. So you can surf the wave, you can body surf it, you can be on a board, but you have to go with the wave. And I do believe this is a powerful image for what we are invited to do with the astrological waves, the planetary celestial waves coming at us. And astrology is just a system to help us understand that. So I'm just realizing I didn't take the phone out. I might better. Okay, so this overall theme for the coming week has a lot to do with feeling who we are in our own sense of self and how we relate from that to the other person, the people we meet, the friends, the family, the close people to our heart. So the moon will be going through the third quadrant of the Zodiac. So today it's entering Libra, then it goes into Scorpio and Sagittarius throughout the week. And I'm going to give you the specifics. But just as a general idea, the Zodiac is an archetypal circle of evolution. So it starts with Aries, and then Aries is outward, is a pioneer, is a warrior, starting into something new. Then there is an inward direction of that energy with Taurus. Taurus is grounded, structured, organized, sensual, lazy, whatever high end or low end you're going to look at. And then after Taurus, there is a mental opening, a curiosity, discovering the world. So that's just the first quadrant I'm describing here very briefly. So, but you get a feeling that each sign is coming out of the one before. So with the 12 signs in the Zodiac, we have that evolution. And then it starts on the next level. So I look at evolution as a spiral movement. So with the moon as the fastest moving planet throughout the week, it's very helpful to look at where that moon is and where that moment, these 2.5 days are, and how our emotional set point will be. So it will help us to understand our inner world, our emotions much better. And I do like to talk about that sense of emotional maturity. But for that, we first have to really be in contact with what's going on in there. So I hope that these little previews will help you to kind of be more attentive and in tune with what's going on in your heart and what's going on in your head, in your mind. And ultimately, I believe it's about really being in alignment between the heart and the head and letting that play together. So the third quadrant of the zodiac, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, this is where the moon is moving through this week. So that's why I started out saying that this week we will have a lot of attention towards the other. So we also have Mercury and Venus changing sign from Cancer into Leo. So that's again a very different energy, while Cancer, and the Sun is still in Cancer, is kind of inwardly directed towards our own unconsciousness, towards that abundance, that inner abundance of experiences and memories and creativity. So from that inward direction, now Venus and Mercury is stepping into Leo, which is totally outwardly again. So Leo is the king, the queen, standing on the stage of life, sitting in the throne, being admired or at least reflected back by other people. So Mercury as symbolizing our mental state, our mental filter, stepping into Leo will be a strong push for communication, to really find our voice and to be really vocally strong and expressing ourselves. And Venus into Leo, Venus, goddess of love, harmony and beauty, and the moon in Libra at the same time when that shift happens, there is again a lot of orientation towards the other. I want you to remember that when I say the other, that's just one way how we touch our own heart, how we get to know our own self. So love actually is a state of mind, a state of consciousness, a state of the heart. So love is not just what we have with that person out there. So nevertheless, with Venus stepping into Leo, there will be a lot of passion and energy and fiery flow for us available. And Venus takes a little longer to go through Leo, so we're going to have that for a little while. So it will connect us to our own inner potential of creativity, to skills we already have contact with. So it's really about your own charismatic shine in the world. Okay, then we have Neptune squaring Saturn. That's a very slow transit, so that's kind of in the background for quite a while. And a lot of us astrologers have been talking about it on and off for a long time. So remember Saturn, the elder, the principle where we learn through applying ourselves, getting deep, moving through obstacles and limitations, and climbing the mountain, doing the great work. So that's what high-end Saturn is about. And Neptune is the planet we look at, the mystic who symbolizes our own opening to the divine. And I have presented the concept of the ocean of consciousness before, because it's such a powerful one. So the idea is that we all are a wave in the ocean, which by definition means a wave is the ocean. So because of that, when we have Neptune activations, we have an especially good chance to connect not only with our own unconsciousness, but also with that bigger field of consciousness. So it's an invitation to raise our consciousness, to tap into those dimensions which connect us with all that is the ultimate highest consciousness. Call it God, call it the divine, call it morphogenetic field, actually, kind of like that one, because it also kind of taps into that idea that whatever's happening at the top of our wave in our consciousness, and whatever we integrate with moving that line of self-identity deeper down and including more unconscious dimensions of our belly of the wave. So when we do that, then we do immediately bring back, radiate energy back into what we call the morphogenetic field. So that is very powerful, and as I believe, that's truly the point of change and power we hold in the world. I mean, we know how little we can really change out there in the world, and I'm not saying we shouldn't try. We should do what we can do, but the true power point is really our consciousness and our own growth, our own spiritual sense and identity, and how we bring that back into the world through the morphogenetic field. So all the internal growth you do and all the emotional maturation, in a way, you're not only doing that for yourself, which I find often very comforting, especially when we go through hard times. Okay, so then we still have 4 planets retrograde: Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Chiron. So whenever we have retrograde planets, they go kind of backwards in the degrees of the sign they're in. And that means they're kind of revisiting themes and subjects they have visited before. So in a way, you could look at it like having a second chance to revisit and deepen and take things to a more conscious level. So Saturn we already talked about, Pluto the god of the underworld, Neptune the mystic, Chiron the healer. So all those principles are kind of revisiting, giving you a second chance to really deepen your consciousness, your connection to your own spiritual dimension, and enables you to do some inner healing work with Chiron in the mix. Okay, also 6 out of 11 planets are still in water signs. So that means there is a strong emphasis still this week to receive, to attract magnetically into your field, to reflect, to release, to truly connect with that inner dimension inside of you. Okay, a little bit about me. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. Evolutionary astrology is an astrology teaching us about choice and inner growth. And it's not an astrology of determinism. So I look at every single astrology from the perspective of how can this serve you? How can you step up the ladder of your personal consciousness? And I use astrology as a spiritual path for my own awakening, for reflection, and ultimately it's really your blueprint, your birth chart is your blueprint for waking up and what it takes for you and what is in the way and where you left it off in a prior lifetime and where you want to take it towards in this lifetime. And so the birth chart gives us all the information to truly connect with what your spiritual calling and your spiritual destiny is in this lifetime. So I love astrology. You can tell I'm pretty passionate about it. So I've been doing it for 38 years, and I'm still in awe and always amazed what depth and insight and freedom it can bring. So my astrology, people always like to know, my sun is at the very end, last seconds of Taurus. So I do feel some Taurian quality. I'm pretty grounded, very practical. My ascendant is at the beginning of Gemini. So here you have the talker, the communicator, the storyteller, the teacher. And the Mercury as a ruler of my chart is in the 12th house. So I do believe that for me it plays out that it's in Taurus, Mercury in Taurus in the 12th house. So I do believe that symbolizes quite nicely that I have a very practical way to bring in those kind of very mental concepts and bring them into a very practical understanding. And I want you to always step away with something you can really apply in your life. So my moon is in Aquarius in the 11th house. So I'm a rebel. I'm weird. I'm colorful. Hey, look at me. I'm an astrologer, professional astrologer. You have to have some level of weirdness to do that. So my intentions with teaching astrology is to empower you, that you can make better choices and have more awareness in your life. And of course, everything I'm presenting in this kind of global, more general forecast, you have to correlate back to where that happens in your chart, and how what I'm discussing is connecting back with aspects into your chart. So in case you don't have your chart, you can go to my website, mauiastrologyreading.com, and put in your information in the newsletter, and then you get access to a program where you can create your chart, and also you will get access to what I call the Love Stone Report, which is a report which gives you a description about your Venus gemstone, the one of the gemstones which really helps to heal the heart. And we all have wounds growing up, and nobody had a perfect childhood. So we all have reasons to pay attention to the heart. And your Venus stone can be used as an anchor, as a focus point to do that. So you can lay it on your heart, you can lay down with it and meditate, you can wear something you have with a gemstone maybe in your energy field. So there's a vast application of how to use gemstones to balance actually parts in your chart. So I truly believe that we do have quite an amount of power in that present moment of now and who we are, and we can only always do the best in that present moment. But when we do, we really contribute from that highest place we can come from. Yeah. Heart and self-compassion goes hand in hand, absolutely. And we could even say this is really what's up this week, with all the planets still in water signs and the moon so connected with the third quadrant of the zodiac, where it's all about us and our connection and how we can experience that intimacy. Okay, so today Moon enters Libra at 4:01 p.m. All the times I give you are Pacific Standard Time. So even if the Moon shifts so fast, doesn't mean it's not strong. So it is kind of very impactful and emotionally strong, just for a shorter time that we are used to with slower planets. So Moon enters Libra, and wherever that happens in your chart, this is activated. The heart, the connection, your ability to love, and also your need to love, to have somebody in your life. Mm-hmm. And of course, with relationships, I mean, relationships are really kind of one of the most challenging areas in our life. So there's a lot of space for projections. So we fall in love with somebody, we have a nice honeymoon, and then after a while reality comes knocking at the door, and we realize maybe it was us not really looking clearly onto the other person. So that's a way to kind of to ground ourselves in the moment by really asking that question. Am I really perceiving that person the way he or she is, or do I project what I want to see? That's always a good question to ask, especially when we meet new people. So Moon entering Libra might open the door to have quite sweet, intimate connections. You might meet new people, but it could also be that you just hang out with your girlfriend and do something nice, something what nurtures both of your hearts. So I'm gonna go and see a girlfriend. So Monday, the Venus enters Leo. We already talked a little bit about that. So from that inward direction, it's more now outward, more adventurous. We also have a moon opposition to Uranus and a square to Pluto. So Uranus, the god of lightning, Pluto, the god of the underworld, both connected with a powerful, challenging aspect to the moon. Opposition is opposing you. The square is kind of bringing in friction there from the side. So Uranus interrupts continuity. Uranus wants to initiate a breakthrough into a new level of consciousness. So because the moon is still in Libra, that might be a breakthrough in awareness, in something you haven't been able to see in your own inner heart, or in the way how you connect with your loved ones. So be open to allow that revolutionary spirit breakthrough to happen. So that's Monday. Then Tuesday, Moon moves over into Scorpio at 1:52 p.m. So that again, after that opening, there will be a more inward direction, and Scorpio is kind of the most intense sign we have in the zodiac. It's a water sign. It's ruled by Pluto. So whenever a moon goes through Scorpio or connects with Pluto, that is always a time where we feel more intensely than usual. We might be more reactive than usual, but it also, on the bright side, it connects us with a deeper truth. And the possibility here is to not kid yourself about something, and it's probably in the interrelationship realm, but to really go deep, to really find your own inner truth. And then with Mercury leaping into Leo on Wednesday at 5:46 p.m., we can connect those feelings, those emotional awarenesses with Mercury. So Mercury goes into the outward directed, strong, self-expressive sign of Leo, fiery. So you're going to be strong. You're going to find your voice. You're going to express yourself. And with all the relationship background, that's the area where you want to do that. And of course, it doesn't mean you have to attack or put somebody down. It just means that you don't hold back your truth. And there are elegant and successful ways how to express your truth. There's a whole teaching program about it called compassionate communication or nonviolent communication. For me, it's sometimes a little bit too set into a certain pattern what they teach, but I do believe it's a good thing to learn something about it, because it teaches you how to present something to the other in a way that they can actually hear it. So very helpful. Then Thursday, we have still the Scorpio moon in trine with the sun, which is a so-called easy, harmonious flow there, and then in conjunct Mars. And whenever Mars is in the picture, we have fire, energy, Mars low end is violence, is abuse, is aggression, all the stuff we don't like and we don't want. So because it's a moon which is already so emotionally geared, connecting with Mars might be somebody pushes a button and bang, you go off. So be ready that you're more reactive and more aggressive than usual. And here it's good to really cultivate what I call the witness function. And we all do that because we are the wave in the ocean. So we all have the ability to look at ourselves from that neutral perspective. And that's why I love astrology or evolutionary astrology so much, because it kind of gives us that neutral wisdom, high perspective onto ourselves. So just watch yourself on Thursday. What button can be pushed, and if you have enough time to choose how to react, or if you just go and react and blast somebody. So, okay, Friday, moon steps into Sagittarius. Again, very different energy. We were talking about the inwardness of the Scorpio moon. Now we're talking about the moon stepping into Sagittarius at 2:14 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So Sagittarius is fire again, is ruled by Jupiter. And Sagittarius moon is expansive. Sagittarius moon is thinking big, feeling big, taking the world on. High-end Sagittarius moon is the ability to push the boundaries, to push the comfort zone. And I believe that's always something we want to do, because if we just stay in the box of comfortability, there's no growth there. And it's actually a prison. So things get very stagnant in our life if we don't push and grow and expand. So the moon in Sagittarius will give you that push to step it up, to think bigger and be bigger. Next Sunday, we have a grand trine between Sun, Mars, and Chiron. So Sun and Mars both are the male principles, the male archetypes in the Zodiac. Chiron, the wounded healer. So a trine, again, is kind of an easy flow between the principles it connects. So Sun is in a harmonious way connected with Mars as well as Chiron. So with that, there is more possibility to live those principles on the high-end level of possibilities. So Sun in Cancer is deep, emotionally connected, nurturing, has a certain generosity there. Mars, the spunkiness of the warrior, the pioneer, starting into something, the activist. So, and Chiron, the healer. So all those energies are flowing together in a supportive way. So that means you could have a breakthrough into an area where you need to pay attention for your health. That's a possibility. You might have a breakthrough emotionally in the area. You need to adjust and be with yourself in a different way. So that's kind of the walkthrough for the week. My dears, if you have any questions, now is a good time to put it in. And if you haven't heard us from the beginning, you can sign up for my newsletter on my website, Maui Astrology Reading, and there you get access to your free chart. So then you can really correlate everything back in my videos and forecasts to where it is happening in your chart. So you will then have that extra information. And I do more in depth and longer videos on YouTube, so you can find me there, Shakti Carola Navran. You can find me on Instagram with 1 minute daily little snippets, astrobites I call them. So these are all ways how you can learn a little bit more. And by following these forecasts, every week you will learn a little bit about a different perspective and archetype. So I hope I have spread my passion and you had some joy and excitement about the week to come. So I think it's a good week to come for all of us. So if you don't have any questions right now for me, hi Diane. Well, let's see the questions. Please keep the forecast going. Yeah, it's kind of hard if not so many people are showing up, but I will give it more time to see that this becomes kind of a weekly get-together. And I really like to have your questions and that you put in your sun and ascendant in your comments, so we all kind of get to know each other a little bit on that deeper level. Okay, so Mars in Scorpio, which is where it has been for the Mars retrograde. Yes, and that is a transit. So a transit, we call everything when a planet up there, where it's right now in the heavens, when it connects with an aspect back into where the planets are in your chart. That's what we call a transit. And that aspect connection is kind of, you could imagine it like an energetic flow between the two planets and what they symbolize in your chart. So if you have Mars in Scorpio and you have Mars, transiting Mars, coming into the sign, that will activate it. And when it conjuncts it, then that activation will be very strong and emphasized. So it just means that with a Mars retrograde, you had a really chance to connect with what Mars in Scorpio means for you. And Mars in Scorpio is deep, is going under the surface, is interested in the psychological dimensions of what makes us tick. So that was the invitation with Mars transiting in Scorpio. And usually we do feel those transits, even if they're only in the same sign than the planet is. But of course we feel it more exact if it's aligned with certain aspects which we define as hard or easy aspects. So the hard aspects would be opposition, conjunction, square. The hard aspects, the easy aspects would be trine and sextile. So the easy aspects are kind of not such a challenge for us to bring those principles together, while the hard aspects, you have to deal with it. It's right in your face. Mm-hmm. And thinking about the past, that's part of it, that because Mars is so oriented towards going under the surface, taking that deeper look, and a lot of who we are in the present moment is who we have been in the past and how we have been conditioned, and the choices and decisions which brought us to the present moment and to the identity we hold in the present moment. And the identity of somebody is truly, truly powerful. The identity is somebody we are willing to die for, really. Mm-hmm. So, Karina, good to see you. Thanks for encouraging me. Yeah, as long as you guys shows up, I will continue doing this. Okay, any more questions or things you'd like to discuss? Don't forget to put down your sun and ascendant. That might be fun to see that from everybody coming through. So, yes, very deep. And okay, my dears, it looks like we are done for the day. So I will upload the video so you can listen to it again if you want. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. So there are going to be some adventure out there, and meet the other with your full open heart as much as possible. Aloha from Maui and namaste. All the best. Bye.